everyone, I am Prabhat and I am creator and core developer for SOLYD. What is SOLYD? SOLYD is identity and workflow platform to build powerful applications over many blockchains and many classical cloud or in-house IT systems together. Now when I say this, it's quite a heavy word. Blockchain, IT, classical IT, in-house, on-premise, cloud applications together. So first of all, let's understand what is identity. Identity is something like a light switch, which is like this. It should be need-based, should be controllable, and the purpose should be that to prove who am I. But in our current world, centralized world, we have given the control of this light switch to somebody else. Say Facebook, Google, or many other corporations. Because the IT systems so far have been so that it is not easy or not so feasible to build decentralized identity platform. Now, we are not the first one. There have been many attempts, and there are ongoing projects parallel to us to build identity solutions. But what we have done is made it scalable. By scalable, we mean that you can connect variety of blockchains, smart contracts, anonymous blockchain, high gas blockchain, low gas blockchains together, and then make something wonderful out of it. So you don't have to worry about different kind of integrations every time. That all becomes easy, and we'll show you in a minute how. So what is blockchain identity? So blockchain identity is like you control the switch. Every user on a blockchain is a root user. You control the switch with your private keys. You can program your identity. So with your identity, you can add certain codes, certain rules using smart contracts or other such methods on blockchain or off-chain solutions, and then control your identity, that who should be knowing who are you. How should they not be able to repropagate your identity to someone else, like selling your identity. All those things can be programmed here, and you are in charge. The person owning the private key is in charge. And then you can also build identity applications for masses. If something works for you, you can make it for everyone. Now, building applications on blockchain has been a tough one so far. Like only people who are very much trained on writing smart contracts, writing secure smart contracts, and understanding of how different parts of the blockchains work together, then only they can make an application on blockchain. Even for them, it is very hard to ensure that the whole system is safe, because if you make something completely for blockchain, then you are putting yourself at certain risks. If you have enough hedges around those risks, you are safe. But most of the time, if you put everything on blockchain, the applications becomes quite heavy to run. The gas, if you know the notion of gas pricing or the notion of gas in Ethereum, then you know what I mean. So the gas becomes very high. You have to pay more for every transaction, because with every transaction there will be so many things executed on blockchain, and this will also slow down the overall blockchain, because there is certain limitation on how much of transaction can happen in every block. So if your transactions are going through because you paid enough gas, others will have to wait. So the right idea is to have the right kind of mix for on-chain and off-chain. There are certain advantages of on-chain. If everything could have been done on-chain, on-chain would have been the best platform. But there are certain pros and cons like anything, and that's why when you do things on-chain, it should be optimized. And when you store things off-chain, that should also be optimized for on-chain usage. And then you have to make connections between the on-chain world and the off-chain world, which is also sometimes called oracles for certain situations. Otherwise, you have to design your own. And all this requires that every app or dApp developer reinvents the whole workflow of how this whole flow of information from on-chain to off-chain, off-chain to on-chain, based on events, based on time, and everything happens together, right? All this workflow, all this optimization, all this fault tolerance, all this building of the solution, it takes time. In SOLYD, we have made that faster. We have accelerated the pace of building applications by our standard interface called SOLYD Studio. And it's a very low code drag and drop workflow creation tool, and we'll see how. Before that, let's go through what are the different building blocks of workflow and applications on SOLYD. So you can have blockchain smart contracts and have events and functions, which will be the trigger or terminator for a process. You can have external APIs and hooks which can start the process and or which can be triggered at the end of the process, or they can trigger at, or they can trigger an interim process. Then you can have internal API. So if you have the whole workflow, you can convert any step of the workflow into an API or a hook, which can hit or call some other function to start or at the interim step or at the end of the process. And then you can have screens which can have forms to collect data or info pages, and then you can have scripts to execute certain custom codes. And currently we support JavaScript. In our coming versions we'll also support Python. So let's log on to our studio. So this is the interface for the studio. In here you can see that this is the user interface. There are three parts of it. So first two tabs are for home. So home is a place where you can see your wallet, your contracts, your dApps which you published or part of, and the transactions you have made, transactions made by your peers and partners, and how many peers and partners you have, what is the activity level and everything. Then the second tab is for wallets. This is again a end user interface. They can see what kind of wallets they have. Currently we are only supporting Siberium, which is our partner test and production blockchain, Siberium test and Siberium. We will also add Ethereum and other such blockchains. So Ethereum is coming very soon. Others will be based on demand. And also, even if we do not support any blockchain, if we don't support any blockchain directly here, you can add your blockchains. Like you can add any Ethereum or Tron or any blockchain which you like, and I'll show you how. So this is not a limitation. This is only for wallets that we are currently supporting Siberium. Then we have apps and dApps tab. Here all the applications and dApps which you install will be visible here. And then the business part. So these two parts of business and admin are for business users, but currently we are in alpha, so everything is accessible to everybody, and you can play with it, you can try, you can learn and see and suggest and give feedback to us how it works. So operations is for any workflow. Different workflows will have certain start nodes or certain things which can start a workflow. All that can be accessed from here. Queues will be all the different processes which are waiting in your queue, and you can host your own whole team onto one platform, and they will have separate roles and responsibilities, so they can see only what they're supposed to see. All the alerts will be visible here: APIs, blockchain listeners, timer events, and status of anything, like how many blockchains and workflow are there, that can be seen here. Coming to the front end, you can create applications, workflows, screens. You can add scripts, and you can build APIs and hooks from the workflows created on SOLYD, or you can add external APIs and hooks and use those in workflow. The blockchain part, you can add multi-sig partners, or you can create controllers. Like with the default business profile, you get 3 contract of hub, admin, and pub, and you can change it based on your needs. So admin contract is for all the administrative tasks which this account will do online, on chain. So this smart contracts controls that. Pub contract is for identity. So every user or a business entity has to have a pub contract. So that is controlled by this one, pub contract. And hub contract is a business contract. So here SOLYD is a business, and it has certain functions. It has certain on-chain functions. So all on-chain tasks are coded in hub contract. The node is Iberium node that controls all the communication with the blockchain world, and you can add nodes here for any blockchain if you want. You can add your, so we call it personal syndicates, your personal blockchain. So you can add a syndicate here, and you can decide that what kind of blockchain you want to add. Currently we are supporting Ethereum type only. And then you can create keys. Here you have to store keys. So the keys can be remote, so we don't need to know your private keys. You can just have the public key, and then have some kind of a signing server where any kind of transactions are actually signed by your server. So the system will send a request to signature, and your server, if responds, your transactions on blockchain will go through. And in some further episodes, we'll show you how to set up remote signing servers. Now the next one is tags. Basically very simple. You should add resources to certain tags. It helps in organizing your work on any platform. It's a quality tool. And finally, you can add teams. You can add members to your team. You cannot add members to public team. Public is for if you want to make your apps available to SOLYD users, then you have to assign that application to public, and we'll show you how. And admin is you. So this is my profile, and you can add more members to the admin, or you can add one more team and then add members to that team, and then use these kind of teams further in the workflows.